Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to study the importance of foreign trade policy. Let's begin. Foreign trade policy. Now, what is foreign trade policy? The foreign trade policy is essentially a set of guidelines for the import and export of goods and services. Now, who is going to frame these guidelines? That is DGFT is nothing but Directorate General of Foreign Trade. See, Directorate General of Foreign Trade, that is DGFT, that is the governing body. Okay, they frame a set of guidelines for import and export of goods and services. That is nothing but foreign trade policy. I just repeat, the DGFT, the Directorate General of Foreign Trade, that is the governing body, they set of guidelines, they set a guidelines for import and export of goods and services. That policy is nothing but foreign trade policy. That guidelines is nothing but foreign trade policy. Hope you understood. What is foreign trade policy? Foreign trade policy, it is nothing but a guidelines for the import and export of goods and services, which is established by Directorate General of Foreign Trade, the governing body for the promotion and facilitation of exports and imports under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. This comes under DGFT, comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The policy is notified for a period of 5 years. See, this policy is notified for the 5 years. It is updated every year on March 31st, but it comes into effect from April 1st. Clear? For every 5 years, this policy is get notified. Then it is updated every year on March 31st and effects from April 1st. Now, what are the strategic options for trade policy? Strategic options for trade policy. In that, first one is free trade policy, another one is protective trade policy. This topic is already studied in degree level, BCom. Okay, so what is free trade and what is protection? These are the two strategic options for trade policy. Free trade policy. Now, what is free trade policy? The word itself says, what is free trade? It is nothing but there is no restriction as far as trade is concerned. Free trade, it does not impose any restrictions on the exchange of goods and services between different countries. What do you mean by free trade? It is nothing but removal of restrictions for the exchange of goods and services between different countries. It involves complete absence of tariffs, quotas, exchange restrictions, and taxes. What is free trade policy? Free trade policy is nothing but removal of restrictions for the exchange of goods and services between two countries or more than two countries. Clear? It involves complete absence of tariffs, quotas, exchange restrictions, and taxes. Hope you understood free trade policy. It is nothing but removal of restrictions. They do not impose any kind of restrictions for the exchange of goods and services between two countries or among the countries. Now, what are the arguments for free trade? First one, maximization of world's output. Arguments for means favorable, okay, advantages of free trade, maximization of world's output. See, these arguments, this argument in favor of a policy of free trade, it is that it contributes to the maximization of world's output. Okay, these arguments in favor of policy of free trade, and it contributes to the maximization of world's output. This is due to the fact that it is based on international division of labor and specialization. It's based on international division of labor and specialization. See, each country can specialization itself in the production of the commodity to produce which it enjoys a comparative cost advantage. I think you studied this comparative cost advantage theory. Each country can specialization itself in the production of a commodity to produce which it enjoys a comparative cost advantage. Optimum utilization of productive resources helps the countries to maximize their output. See, optimum utilization of the productive resources, which maximizes the world's output or country's output. Clear? That is the first point, maximization of world's output. Then second one, benefits to consumers. Second point, that is benefits to consumers. See, a policy of free trade brings enormous benefits to consumers, plenty of benefits to the consumers. There will be an optimization of consumption. Consumers will be in a position to import goods of their choice from the cheapest markets. They can import the goods from cheapest markets. They can import and use superior variety of products. Choices are more. Clear? All these assures the optimization of consumption in the trading countries. That is the second point, benefits to consumer. Clear? Then third one, higher incomes to the factors of production. Under conditions of free trade, factor units can easily and quickly move either within the same country or between different countries for securing higher remuneration for their services. See, higher incomes to the factors of production. That is the third one. Under these conditions, under the conditions of free trade, factor units, that is land, labor, and capital, these are easily and quickly move either within the country or between different countries to securing higher remuneration for their services. Specialization also contributes to higher rewards to the factors of production. Okay, clear? That is about higher incomes to the factors of production. Next is advantages of competition. A policy of free trade is based on the existence of competition in the commodity as well as the factor markets. As a result, free trade leads to efficiency with an important advantage of competition. Competition encourages entrepreneurs to work hard and innovate. See, what about the advantages of competition? A policy of free trade is based on the existence of competition in the commodity as well as the factor markets. As a result, free trade leads to efficiency, which is an important advantage of competition. Okay, free trade leads to efficiency, which is an important advantage of competition. Competition encourages entrepreneurs to work hard and innovate. Clear? This is about advantages of competition. Next is widening of markets. In the absence of restrictions, a policy of free trade leads to the widening of markets for the products of countries practicing it. Widening of market leads to an increase in investment and production. See, widening of markets leads to the increase in investment and production. It also leads to improved technology, that is modern technology, and the introduction of new or superior and cheaper varieties of products. Okay, so this is about widening of markets. In the absence of restrictions, a policy of free trade leads to the widening of markets for the products of countries practicing it. Widening of markets leads to increase in the investment as well as in production. It also leads to improve in technology, modern technology, and the introduction of new or superior varieties of products. Okay, then next is political advantage. Now, what is political advantage? A policy of free trade has a political advantage also. It promotes international cooperation and understanding among the governments concerned. See, a political advantage is nothing but it maintains the healthy relationship between two countries. International cooperation or understanding among the governments. or countries concerned. There will be a better international ties and relations leading to the international peace and brotherhood. So it is nothing but maintaining a healthy relationship between two countries or among the countries concerned. Is it clear? That is the political advantage, because there are restrictions are less. Hope you're clear. Next, arguments against free trade. In that first one, not suitable to less developed countries. Why? It is said that a policy of free trade is not suitable to the less developed countries because these countries cannot withstand competition from the developed countries. It's difficult to compete with the developed countries. Is it clear? The less developed countries are facing the problem of competition from the cutthroat competition from the developed countries. So for that, it is not suitable. Free trade is not suitable to the developed countries. Next is cutthroat competition. I already told, a policy of free trade leads to cutthroat competition. That is nothing but intense competition. Intense competition has destabilizing effects, particularly upon the less developed countries. Okay, here you can see cutthroat competition from, especially from MNCs. Okay, then third one, excessive dependence. A policy of free trade leads to excessive dependence upon both exports and imports. Clear? A policy of free trade leads to expensive dependence on both exports and imports. Excessive dependence upon foreign countries is both risky and dangerous, especially during a period of crisis. Okay, excessive dependence upon foreign countries is always risky, especially dangerous during a period of crisis. Hope you clear. That is excessive dependence. Then next, cannot control monopolies. It has been observed that the policy of free trade does not totally prevent the formation of monopolies. It will lead to the emergence of international monopolies. This free trade emerges or encourages to emerge the international monopolies. So it's very difficult to control monopoly under free trade. Then evils of multinational corporations. Free trade and liberalization always encourage the growth of multinationals, MNCs. These MNCs exploit the less developed countries. These MNCs always give cutthroat competitions to the domestic firm. So for that, these MNCs exploit the less developed countries in many ways. MNCs indulge in many malpractices as well. Okay, so this is about arguments against free trade. Not suitable to less developed countries, cutthroat competition, excessive dependence, cannot control monopolies, and evils of multinational corporations. And next is protection. Okay, next is protection. Now, what is protection? What is free trade? Free trade is nothing but there are no restriction for flow of goods from one country to another country, or exchange of goods from one country to another country. That is nothing but free trade. Removal of restrictions. It may be tariff, quota, or other other restrictions. Right? Now, what is protection? Protection is nothing but it is a policy of protecting the domestic industries. See, what is protectionism or protection? Protectionism or protection is nothing but it protects the domestic industries against foreign competition. Clear? It protects the domestic industries against foreign competition by means of tariffs, subsidies, import quotas, and other restrictions placed on imports of foreign competitors. Means protectionism is nothing but it is a policy it is a measure or it is a tool which is used by the government to protect the domestic industries against foreign competition by means of tariffs, quotas, subsidies, and other restrictions placed on imports of foreign competitors or foreign goods. Clear? It is nothing but putting restrictions on imports to protect the domestic industries. To protect the domestic industries, the government is going to put more tariffs or tax or quotas, fixing the quotas on imports. By that, discourage the imports. When you discourage the imports, that is the beneficial to the domestic industries. Clear? Next is arguments for protection. Now, what are the arguments for protection? First one, balance of payment argument. What is this balance of payment argument? See, this argument in favor of policy of protection arises from the need to set right the disequilibrium in balance of payments. See, this is particularly so if the disequilibrium is due to a deficit, the excess of imports over exports. See, what is deficit? Deficit is nothing but excess of imports over exports. If import is more than the exports. To avoid that, see, if there is a protection, means if there is a tariff or quota or some other measures or restrictions, then what happens? Imports will be less, import comes down. By that, export increases, import comes down. So it's nothing but favorable balance of payment. Clear? Favorable balance of payment. So that is the first point. Then second point, revenue argument. What is this revenue argument? By putting a tariff or taxes or import quota, by that the government is going to get revenue, right? That is the second point. A policy of protection has been justified on the ground that it is a source of revenue to the government. Clear? Revenue could be raised by imposing tariffs. See, it is the revenue argument. By putting tariff or taxes, the government is going to get revenue. That is the revenue argument. Then third one is anti-dumping argument. What is this anti-dumping argument? See, dumping means it refers to a situation in which a good is sold at a lower price in the foreign market than in the home market. In the sense, same good in foreign market, they are going to sell it at low price than the domestic market. Is it clear? In a foreign, they are going to sell it for low price, and in home market or domestic market, the same good is priced more. In the sense, in a domestic market, they charge more or they price more, and in international market, they charge or they sell it at a lower price. That is dumping. So this dumping destroys the interest of domestic producers and market, right? It is a dumping, it destroys the interest of the domestic producers and market. It is in order to protect the interest of these domestic producers, that a policy of protection is justified. Dumping could be checked by imposing tariffs. See, dumping can be avoided by imposing more taxes. That is anti-dumping argument. Clear? Dumping is against, or it destroys the interest of the domestic producers. In order to protect the domestic producers, this protection policy is justified in the form of putting or imposing more tariffs. Is it clear? That is anti-dumping argument. Next is defense argument. Now, what is this defense argument? See, protection is advocated from the point of view of having a strong national defense. Okay, a country needs a strong security to protect its territory and the economy. Hence, all the industries engaged in production of defense goods should be protected by the government. See, Adam Smith said once, defense is better than opulence. See, protection is advocated from the point of view of having a strong national defense. A country needs a strong security to protect its territory and economy. Hence, all industries engaged in the production of defense goods should be protected by the government. Those industries which is engaged in production of defense goods That industry is protected by the government. Hope you clear. There is defense argument. Next, arguments against protection. In that first one, lethargy. What is this? Protection encourages lethargy on part of the protected industries. See, if you give a protection in the form of subsidy or export promotion measures, all those things, what happens? These industries may not work hard at all. See, these industries doesn't work at all because these industries are protected by government, right? They always depend on the government support. So for that, protection encourages the lethargy on the part of the protected industries. Then second one is inefficiency. See, this protection leads to inefficiency. This is because under the juice of protection, many undeserving industries will be supported. So, see, this protection sometimes supports even undeserving industries. Okay, they don't work hard, they don't work hard at all, and even such industries are protected by the government. Even the inefficient industries also supported by this protection policy. Clear? Then third one, sacrifice of the principle of comparative cost. A policy of protection strikes at a very root of principle of comparative cost upon which international trade is based. See, there is a separate theory, that is comparative cost theory. At that time, I'll clear you this particular point. Okay, comparative cost theory. Okay, see, a policy of protection strikes at the very root of the principle of comparative cost upon the which international trade is based. Okay, next is loss to consumers. Under a policy of protections, the consumers stand to loss because they are deprived of good quality goods, price will be higher, and there will be no choice at all. See, less choice, price is high, and the quality, even quality sometimes deprives. Okay, so there is loss to consumers, less choice, less alternatives, price is high, as well as no guarantee on the quality good as well. Okay, next is reduction in the volume of trade. What is this reduction in the volume of trade? A policy of protection by a policy of protection by reducing the flow of goods will lead to a reduction in the volume of international trade. See, a policy of protection, definitely, if there are more restrictions, there will be a less flow of goods from one country to another country, right? It leads to the reduction in the volume of international trade, means quantity. Volume means quantity here, reduction in the quantity of trade. Then last point, dangers of becoming permanent. Once an industry is protected, it may become permanent. The industry may not try to stand on its own. See, once the industry is protected, it may become permanent. The industry may not try to stand on its own. Clear? They always depend on the government for everything. For every time they expect something from the government, as far as in the form of subsidy or other measures. So that is the another argument against the protection, that is danger of becoming permanent. Clear? These are the arguments in favor of protection and arguments against the protection. Hope you clear. Free trade, foreign trade policy. Foreign trade policy is nothing but it is a set of guidelines which is framed by DGFT for the import and export of goods and services. Clear? Then here there are two strategic options for trade policy. One is free trade, another one protection. Free trade is nothing but removal of restrictions for the transport of goods, or exchange of goods from one country to another country. Clear? especially in the form of restrictions in the form of tariffs, quotas, and exchange restrictions and taxes. Then arguments in favor of free trade and arguments against free trade. Next is protection. Protection is nothing but some kind of restrictions which is imposed by the government to protect the domestic industries or to against the foreign competition, to avoid the foreign competition in the form of by putting tariffs, import quota or subsidies or other restrictions placed on the imports of foreign competitions. Then arguments in for protection and arguments against protections. These are the foreign trade policies. Hope you're clear. In case of any doubts, you can contact me. Thank you.